My name is Kenneth Bird. My company is Crystal Edge Technology Screens, and I am searching for Stan the Man Pots and Pans, which would be my. Oh, I forgot to fix those lights too. I know it happened. The lights triggered off by accident. Looking for Stan the Man Pots and Pans. That is my stand we use in here. This is a 180-inch screen we painted yesterday. As I told you before, these screens actually can take a great deal of punishment. This is me walking back and forth on my screen, and that is the screen we used yesterday. Sorry about the people. I'm a bit tired here. That is the stucco surface. And then over here we have, of course, my gaming screen. So I need to come up here and try to figure out where in the world is my stand. So I was curious, what would happen if I go search YouTube for black screen paint products? How many screen paint products would I be able to find? So we do this from time to time. We go on these searches to see if we can track anybody down who has anything close to what we have. And like I said, I'm itching for a challenge for my technology. It means we'll be putting you through testing. And if we put you through testing, you know what's going to happen. Our testings are brutal. So yeah, we're on the hunt today. We're looking. Ah, there's Stan. I found you. Now, we've already been tracking some certified companies also too that are claiming that black technology, and I'm curious. Let's see if they can go against the 38. Mind you, gonna have to match the screens. Oh, forgot about that too. We got Unicorn coming up pretty soon. We got to do testing on that one too. We definitely gonna do certified on the Unicorn. Can you imagine getting beat by a pink screen? That's gonna be pretty embarrassing. But let's go check the internet. Now, we're gonna bump into a lot of trolls. These are people that basically can't do what we do at the end of the day, but have nothing to do but to hate on us. We're going to be doing a YouTube on that one too, exposing the trolls. Throw my chair back here. We got a lot to do today. I have to be early. I got to be outside in the cold. I got to spray a 100-inch screen for myself. And we got the display, hopefully the weather for Friday. We get ready to start building the frame for the 180-inch outside. We're going to be making that a challenge, which means those of you who make screen paints, we need you to be outside with a 180-inch screen at 27 feet away from the screen at about 5 o'clock in the evening, which I doubt you're going to do it because I'm not trying to be rude. Some of you don't have the room for 180. But if you're going to compare yourself to us at the end of the day, then you should have screen sizes that are way over 100 inches. As a matter of fact, even in your home, you should have screens way over 100 inches. Do we have anything in here 100 inches in the house? I don't think we do. We gotta look around. Oh yeah, we do. Wallpaper screen's 100. No, it ain't even, wallpaper's not even screen 100 inches. 4 feet by 8 feet. Yeah, we're gonna do an inside house comparison. Comparing what we have over here, comparing to what they have over there. If you guys call yourself professionals at the end of the day, you should have screen sizes in your house way over 100 inches. You know, like 144 inches, 148, 127, 129, and so on. You should have multiple projectors. How many projectors, those of you claim to do screen paints, how many projectors do you have? You should have over 60 projectors in your arsenal. Over 18 certified screens in your arsenal. Oh, you guys are calling yourselves professionals at the end of the day. I don't know how that even works. Okay. But let's see. Like I said, you don't want my attention at the end of the day. I explained to y'all that. You don't want my attention. If you want my attention, then, and we're going to do a comparison, I'm going to start comparing my stuff, what we have here, compared to what you have over there. A 100-inch screen is not a screen that should be used in any form. 100-inch screen is good to use, but how does the screen compare at 180 inches or 200 inches or 250 inches? You have to have that on display. You can't go to a company and say, hey, look, we do, oh, I forgot, some of you don't even own venue projectors. How are you? All right, you know what, we got to break it down. Because you got people out there that are claiming that their products work on venues, but yet they don't even own a venue projector. NEC 1150 is not a venue projector at all, period. A Sony VPO FA30, FA31, 36, Chrissy LW 400, LWX, and LWU 505, LW 501I. Those are all venue projectors. NEC 1150s are not. I had 3 of those in here. They're not, even though it's 5,000 lumens, it's not considered to be a venue projector. Even though you can interchange the lenses, that's basically about it. So let's see. Now, 5 years ago, the fellow who's making this product right here, if you notice, this product is gray. Again, I told you back then, a darker screen paint product was considered to be gray. Let's zoom up here a little bit on here. I got to be outside in a few minutes. Let's see how many people we see that's making black screen paint on YouTube. And this is what I typed in at the top. You can see black screen paint, right? Let's see who comes up. Now, either 2 choices. Either people trying to make it or hate on it. That's me. That's me. That's me. That's me. That's me. We know what that is. And again, sitting in the dark as always. Always in the dark. Good gracious. We're not even going to click on that. We don't entertain that one anymore. He's always in the dark. He's always going to be in the dark. What do we got here? In the dark. How are you making black screen paints and you're in the dark? How does that even work? You do know a black screen is designed to absorb tons of light. They're supposed to be displayed in beyond fully lit environments. That's what the technology is designed to do, to absorb light. That's why when you do a demonstration in the dark and you show a scenery and you take it off the screen, the light bursts all over the environment and you put it back on the black screen, it absorbs light. So with that being said, outside, you can have that screen in a fully lit environment, yet I see people displaying these screens, and 2 things I see that come up. 1, the screen's not black because it's a dark gray because it doesn't even match the speakers, what they show in the demonstrations. And 2, the screen is always in the dark. I don't get it. And again, nothing there. Yeah. Oh, this is where we made the product right there. We made his other product. He actually posted it. It did quite badly. Okay, let me see. Yep, that's us. That's us. That's us. That's us. Let's see. This is a fellow from 1 year ago, and that was gray. Let's see. Let's keep going. That's us. That's us. Yeah, that's me. Right there. That's me. That's me right there. You can see it again. Let's see. That's me. That's me. That's me. That's me. That's me. That's me. Oh, you don't look at this. Look at right back. 7 years ago. Do you see that product right there? You see that screen sitting there? Look at the date on it. 7 years ago. Look at the company's name. Digital 4K Crystal Onyx True Black Screen Paint. 7 years ago, naysayers, I was making black technology way before you even knew I ever existed, way before I ever knew you existed. I was developing that technology right there you're seeing in that container, in that little tiny room before I got my houses. So all this hate, where were you 7 years ago? Oh, you didn't even know I even exist 7 years ago. But yes, I was around 7 years ago. You know how long it takes to develop and perfect black technology? It takes a very long time. 7 years ago, I was developing under Digital 4K Crystal Onyx. That's right around the time, under the document with Screen Innovation, that we bumped into them in 2015. I think it was, we bumped into 2015. Yeah, 2015, we bumped into Screen Innovation right in that area right there. Let me see. Here we go. I love how you naysayers come on here talking about how our product's not that good, but yet we got big companies that acknowledge our tech. But then again, you are professionals, right? Let's move on. Here we go. You run your mouths too much. That's the problem. You don't even know what you're talking about at all, period. That's the problem. You naysayers are in your mouth so much. Do you have any idea how much history I have under my company? How many companies we've done business with? How many companies have acknowledged our technology at the end of the day, who know who we are? And yet you guys, not to be rude here, on your YouTube channels that barely get a scratch or a dent, think your professional opinions who have no knowledge, no experience at all when it comes to any form of screen paint projectors or anything else on the face of the planet, want to put your 2 cents in about my technology at the end of the day? Are you freaking kidding me? Please. This is why we don't pay any mind. This is why we consider you to be a joke at the end of the day. And this is why we do not take you seriously. Now, that tidbit right there is when at the time when I told you that we were developing a black technology. Look at the screen name underneath that. What does that email say? Digital 4K crystal onyx. What does the date say? 2015. You see what I mean? You guys don't have, it's so easy sometimes. Again, when I explained to you right around that time, that is when we had digital and crystal screen paint. Right around the time we had the 10-year contract. You never had a 10-year contract on your gray screen paints. We did. I have proof of that. I have a Facebook, which is still up, which I don't know how, but it's still up, showing our ties with companies overseas for a gray screen paint product, which is displayed in a showroom. Your products were never, ever displayed in a showroom. Never got the recognition because, like I said, your stuff is old. Now, if it was back then at that particular time, maybe a company might have picked up on you. But think about all the people that were developing gray screen paints at that particular time. We got picked up. We got a contract. Unfortunately, in the contract, we did make a great deal of money, but the problem we had with the contract is the company got greedy and they tried to take the company from us. And this is how we got out of the contract. We developed the company under digital 4K crystal onyx right about the time when Black Diamond came into the scene, when my friend June came over and brought me down a sample sheet. And in this sample punch sheet that he brought to me was Black Diamond technology, which I've never seen before. Of course, I took it home, put it against my screens, and yes, it leveled everything I had in that room with no problem. And that's when I realized that that gray screen paint I was developed sooner or later was going to become obsolete. If this technology did exist and it continued on, the gray screen would actually disappear. But you jokers are still making the same old nonsense. This technology is responsible for wiping your screen out. So I had to make a choice right there and then. I could basically continue on the path of this gray screen paint and try to slander these companies, or I could try to develop a black technology that would be a gray technology first. I'm thinking first gray, I'm thinking black first, but a gray technology that could be equal to what they have, or I could basically design something that was better. And that's what I did. With my God's grace and his blessing, I was able to develop a black screen, not gray. And this is where these guys, now I'd never thought in a million years doing the tests on their products. Mind you, we weren't doing any slandering. We were just doing side by side because I was trying to get a product that came close to the diamond. I figured, let's go farther than that. Let's make a physical black screen. If they have gunmetal, let's make black. And that's what we did. We made a screen called Digital 4K Crystal Onyx, which was a black screen paint. And this is what caught their eye. And this is why they contacted me, because they wanted to know exactly what I had and what I was doing over there. And they called me early in the morning. First time they called me, I hung the phone up on them. Yes, I did, because I thought it was my vice president. My vice president is the one who gave me the sample sheet. He's a bit of a jokester. So I figured he was the one who basically went in and sent me he was joking with me that day. I was like, okay, June, real funny, ha, ha, ha. And I hang the phone up on him. And the guy calls back and says, I don't know who June is, but I'm so from Screen Innovation, and we need to have a talk. Now I'm thinking like, okay, did I do something wrong? Did I disrespect the screen? Because I know I didn't do anything like that at the beginning. I just did a side-by-side demonstration. They didn't like the fact that I came extremely close to their product. That's what they didn't like. And that resulted later on in time with lawyers, because as I said before, there was something they were requesting and I would not do it without an NDA attached to it, a non-disclosure agreement, which means non-disclosure agreement means if any of the parties are having a conversation about this, that, and the other, whatever parties that are involved have to be signed to that document. Which means if any one of them, if I say I'm walking in their facility and I see some new technology they're working on, I go, ooh, what the heck is that? And they tell me what it is. And then later on, I go on YouTube and say, hey, I saw this at so and so and so. They could sue me for millions of dollars. Same thing, vice versa. If I tell them, hey, look, we put so and so and so to get it to activate, blah, 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 and they go run their mouths, I could sue them for millions of dollars. It's a breach of that contract. But this is what we requested, and this is what they denied us. They would not give us the NDA. So I said, look, I'm not coming down to Dallas, Texas with this item, knowing that it could be breached. It's not going to happen. And because we were doing these demonstrations back and forth, they decided to shut us up. So let me show you right here. I kept everything. I made sure I took pictures of all my stuff because, like I said, if Mr. Bird's going to talk, Mr. Bird's going to back it up. You know how I work. This is my punch sample sheet. The first one we got for Screen Innovation. Right there. And this right here is from their attorneys. Now, you guys, at the end of the day, when you start receiving letters like this from companies, then your product is worth something at the end of the day. I told you I could easily get more money than I want for my technology easily. The companies know who I am at the end of the day. They know what I'm about at the end of the day. This is the reason why when we requested certain sample sheets, they never showed up because they automatically knew from the door what I'm capable of doing. You guys, they don't consider y'all to be a threat at all, period. You make great screen paint products. You're not a threat. And your tests, they can see on their end that our tests mean business. They can see on your end that your tests, and I'll be rude here, are a joke, and they are a joke. Come on, poorly lit environments, you fake demonstrations, cut corners, crappy demonstrations, very, very crappy demonstrations, not even done correctly. Even when we give you challenges, you can't even take them on. One of the challenges we gave somebody, well, we know what it is. We told them to drop a meter in the middle of the room, max it out, and display contrast levels only. Never freaking done. They know what you are at the end of the day. You may think you could fool people at the end of the day that don't know any better, but these big companies know who you are at the end of the day, and they definitely know who I am. This is why I have letters like this. Let's go over to, let me see. And this is why they've been monitoring me. We know they're monitoring us. We know that. I know so many companies monitoring me. It's not even funny. So I told you two things come of that. Either companies hate us and they want to see us disappear, or the naysayers don't like us because we keep raising the bar. Every time I do a crazy demonstration, that means people are going to request you to do the same demonstration too. And you know darn well you can't do it. So what you'll do is you'll do some fake demonstration, cutting corners at all costs and say, look, we do the same thing. I don't get up off my couch to walk over to a screen to show a contrast level. I don't have dark pockets of dark areas in my environment. I don't do that. I take my camera, I pull it all the way around so people can see the whole entire screen. I don't do stuff like that. You guys do stuff like that. I test my products against everything I can get my hands on in the face of the sun. You guys stay away from that kind of stuff because you know your stuff will match at the end of the day. Heck, I can make your stuff. And I already explained before already to one individual, I think I said this about 8 or 9 times, if you can make my product at the end of the day, make it. And I'll make it and put it against my product live. I said that too many times to count. 200-inch screens, been there and done that. I've already had 200-inch screens. I got demonstrations on every size screen you could possibly think of. There it is, my old house right there. 200-inch screen on display. And you're still sitting there with the same 100-inch, and I'm so sorry people, I'm trying to be nice here, dinky little screen in the middle of your freaking living room on an ultra short throw projector. Same little tiny screen. You know why they use those little tiny screens? Now 100-inch, keep in mind, for everybody else may be large. But if you're doing screen paint products, you're supposed to have a screen bigger than 100 inches. Way bigger than 100 inches. 100 inches, you'll have them every once in a while as a showpiece here and there, but you're supposed to have 120, 135, 140, 150s. I've never seen a 235.1 set up in your home. Not one. I've had them at 113, 115, 158, 168, and 178 in my house. But you show the same little tiny screen. And the reason why they stick to the small screens is because, number one, the projector is going to sit closer to the screen. They can compress the image even closer to a more sharper, vivid image. That's why. And they use ambient light controlled environments, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I don't do demonstrations. I can go back to my old pictures of, how old are these pictures? I think they're 5 years old, about 5 years old, 5 years old. And I could basically show displays that would put you guys' displays to shame. That's 5 years ago. That's a 200-inch screen from ceiling to floor in a fully lit environment. Oh man, you ever play freaking Titanfalls on a 200-inch screen? You see the size of my freaking gun? My gun was massive. See the size of my gun on Titanfalls? It was huge. I had a friend to come over and look at it. He said, "Good God, are you kidding me?" I said, "Yes, the size of my gun on Titan. It's huge." Please, man. Yeah, I can go back to archives. I don't even have to show you new pictures. I can go back to 5 years. I can go back to 4 years, and I can blow y'all platforms right out of the water. My setups downstairs are way beyond belief. We can do 4 projector setups in different environments. But that's all y'all can do is hate at the end of the day.
My brother helped me open this place. So how do you say thanks to the foodie who says, "Good food is a good food"? What?
Yeah, you guys out there. Better digital one crystal screen. Sorry about my camera's a little bit temperamental today. I want to show you guys basically, I've done video demonstrations before on the with the D4K black screen paint, but man, you guys have no idea how amazing. So you're watching technology that we developed many, many years ago. I've been developing this stuff before you even knew my existence. I can go back in the archives and pull anything I want out. This right here is not the wall, it's actually a bathroom panel that I found in my backyard. I took it out, screwed it to the wall, so make sure there's the cans. The paint is coming in. Wait, let me bring this a little more. Kind of rushed that a bit, didn't I? All right, there we go. These are the cans, you guys can go look at them. Now, one quart is going to be about $550. 2 quarts is going to be $750. Yeah, that price? That's what I made of that product. I made more than that off that product. When I launched that product, when it first came out as an experiment to see exactly what people would pay, because we had to figure out exactly where the price line to put this paint at, it dropped at people were willing to pay $900 a quart to get their hands on it, because that technology at that particular time didn't even exist. Diamond didn't even have a black screen. We had it. So there's your paint right there. So here is it. The can in front of the projector screen. There you go. And if you look at it, look at the colors on this. The colors on this paint is absolutely amazing. And when you come to your contrast levels, nothing projects contrast levels better than a black surface. Now this paint is using our crystal onyx technology game. As you see, we got a 200-watt light in the ceiling right now. It's right next to the screen, and the color does not. And now look at our technology now. We can go outside and we can project 180-inch screen, massive screens outside. Produce screens off ceilings, floors, whatever we want. And you guys are still sitting in the same place, not moving from left to right, because you cut corners at the end of the day. And all you do is hate on me at the end of the day, which at the end of the day doesn't care. It doesn't take anything off my table at the end of the day, as I told you. All our technology comes from God. You take nothing from me, not a thing. But just to show you how far I go back. Didn't even know that technology existed that far back. It did. I got customers that have been watching me since I've been in that little tiny room. That's why I said when you get on camera, y'all talk all that trash, you don't even know what you're talking about. First time you probably ever saw this video. So if you have so much knowledge on what we make, where were you 9 years ago? Or a screen so dark it doesn't pull up. That's 9 years ago. 9-year-old technology doesn't seem to be having that problem. That's why the forum sites we're on right now, they acknowledge our technology. They also acknowledge you guys as haters at the end of the day, because they see it live. I do live demonstrations on forum sites all the time. I do panel live demonstrations. So where is the screen so dark you can't see it? That's a 9-year-old technology. Show me where the screen's so dark you can't see it. That decision from Diamond is what pushed me in this direction, because I knew if I continued down that road with those gray screen paint products, that they're going to be worth nothing. So when your naysayers come on YouTube, you start running your mouth about, oh, you don't know jack about anything at the end of the day. I can go back to 9 years in my archives and I can show you black technology that I developed in a little tiny room, and I can show you the results of that technology. You claim the screens being so black you can't see them? Oh, wow. Interesting. Nine years ago. Yeah, please. Nobody contracts your paints because you know why? They're not worth the time. And anybody can make them. Still haven't done 2, 3, 4, and 5. Let's go back here. Wow, that's a long time ago. Long time ago. Bare silver screen versus black paint. We've done that. That's us. That's me. That's me right there. That's me right there outside. Yeah. Look how far we came. That whole nonsense with you running your mouth. Well, we know this was running his mouth about how our products don't match or the same as black paint. We do black on black tests. That's what they're for. A black on black test is basically showing at the end of the day that the customer is not buying everyday black paint. Versus everyday. See that demonstration right there? You see this side right here? That's black paint. That's our technology. Same test we do. Oh, by the way, for those of you that are trying to make a black paint, I'm going to drop my 38 test demonstrations. I thought it was 29. It's 38 links. 38 links that you're going to have to pass every single one of those live to compare yourself to a 38 Black Widow. Oh, you have to do the test. Come on. You can't think you're going to make a black product and you can't do tests. You're going to have to do tests. There's 38 black tests on that particular product. And that's not including the 18 certified, which you're going to get cracked and you're going to have to go out and buy your 18 certified screens, over 18 certifieds. You're going to have to test that product on more than one projector. You're going to at least need about 10 to 12 in your arsenal, and your screen sizes are going to have to change, which means that 100-inch dinky nonsense. No. That's done. You got to do 100-inch, 120, 135, 140, 150, 160, 170, 180, and 200. I've done a 200-inch in my house, which you just saw right there. Then you're going to have to drop into 235.1s. You're going to have to get those projectors too. Sound a little expensive? Well, guess what? You want to get into this deal. Guess what? You got to spend money. And I forgot about the countless testing your product against white surfaces, testing against black surfaces, low lumen projectors, distance projectors. Yeah, that's the reason why I have all this equipment in the house, but this is what's required when you're testing out screen paint. Not painting something in the middle of your living room and splat it on the wall with an ultra short throw projector that's calibrated and go, oh, it's done. No, it's not done. It's nowhere near done testing. Do you have any idea how much testing is required? Good gracious, man. That's why you can't I can walk into any one of those forum sites and have a conversation with anybody, whether it be an elitist, whether it be a hobbyist, whether it be somebody that's an enthusiast at the end of the day, and I can basically back my product up 100% What are you going to say? Is black paint? We got to test on that. What about, oh, my projector's too powerful? We can drop at 1,000 lumens in the max out zone. Is it weatherproof? We got screens that sit out in the snow. Well, of course, you can't do that. Well, yes, you can. Actually, can do that. You can actually drop a screen in the freezer. We did that. We had a screen we had to do for over in Canada, and they wanted to know if the screen could take on a lot of punishment. So I took a screen, taped it up, soaked it in water, stuck it in my freezer, and we had to beat that thing with a claw hammer to get it out of the ice. Stretch it out on camera and show a demonstration without the screen cracking or peeling. As a matter of fact, the 180-inch screen that's going outside, it's on my floor right now. I've been walking back and forth on it, running my chairs over and over again. At the end of the day, so it doesn't crack or peel. And half of you guys in there talking don't even know what you're talking about at the end of the day. I'm sorry, but they don't know what they're talking about. One person doesn't even know how much paint goes into a screen at the end of the day. I'm sorry, that burns your bubble or eats your lunch a little bit, but you do not know how much paint it takes to paint a screen. That's something you should automatically know if you're calling yourself a professional in this field. How do you not know how much paint it takes? We're not going to go into the website. We're not bring that nonsense. We're not going to entertain that crap. But you don't know how much, and that is not even. How can I say this? That's not even like a what's the word for it? It's not even a rookie move at the end of the day. Now, measuring 100-inch screens to equivalents to a actual size of that screen, that's a rookie move. I've done that one before when I first started out. All right. So I learned to break down the measurements. And then once you start learning how to break down the measurements, you got to do by centimeters too, because you're going to be dealing with other countries. And sometimes they go by the metric system. So you're going to have to go through that too. But you guys don't even know how to break it down at the end of the day. You don't even know how to break down how much paint you're actually selling to your customers at the end of the day either on top of that. Oh my goodness, I could go on and on and on with this. But we're not going to go on and on with this. It's just too much to go on and on with it. But you guys have got a nerve to get on camera and run your mouth so much, but you can't even back your own products up. That multi-optical system, bullcrap. Putting water and paint as a delivery system to keep it from dehydrating, bullcrap. Painting the screen multiple times because you're afraid that the motor's going to jam up, bullcrap. I got 3 motorized projection screens sitting in the closet. They're all custom made. Each one of them have between 5 and 6 coats of paint on them, especially custom paint job. I can take them out. I can roll them up over and over and over again. As a matter of fact, I got to take one out to pack one out for a demonstration for a form site. That's bullcrap. Telling people that because Screen Innovation prints their borders on motorized projection screen, that's nothing new. They were printing borders on screens when they were aspect ratio of 1.1. 1.1 pull down screens came out right around the time when you have 35 millimeters. You don't know anything about that, do you? Half the stuff I explain on camera, you probably got to Google because you don't even know what you're talking about at the end of the day. They've been printing that on motorized projection screens, on manual projection screens. They've been printing the borders since day one, since 35 millimeter. All right. So why would you put a velvet border on a motorized screen that's feeding into a motor to begin with? You would jam the motor up. Of course they print them on. That's nothing new, but he tried to make it sound like because his product was so thin, that's the reason why. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. Again, if you add an extra coat to your product, it makes the screen slightly brighter. Bullcrap. Where's the demonstration? Where's the proof? Show me how that's possible. There you go. You got one guy on here talking a whole bunch of nonsense. If you paint the wall, but do you understand how fusion works? So fusion works, 2 things have to combine together. There has to be a way for those 2 to connect together to transfer into something much greater. If you're talking about your product takes multiple applications to make the surface, they have to fuse together, and it causes a chemical reaction for that surface to transform or morph into something completely different that advances the screen's surface capability, that is bullcrap. And I'll tell you why. The only way you can fuse screens together, which would be easier, is using a spray cannon. Because of the spray cannon, you spray your first coat, it's light, let it dry a little bit, hit it with the second one. As the second one's drying, it's fusing into the other one. Of course, it's going to show some kind of reaction. But if you're using a roller, that's going to be a problem because now you're going to have a cross-contamination problem. Because the minute that roller touches that surface that's wet, it's going to smear the screen with the paint along with it, and you're going to have this Picasso look on the side of your wall instead of having it for the screen. It's better if you paint it over, because as you paint it over, each application learns to fuse into each other. And what is the reaction of the fusion? When the screen fuses together, what is the reaction? So instead of you coming on camera and saying, okay, we got 4 screens, it takes 4 applications. We got one with 1, 2, 3, 4. That is the final. But we got one here with 1, 2, and 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4, you skip an application for each one. So when you show the projector, if these particular screens are showing darker levels, the colors are bad, or bad white levels, you can see it. The one screen that has the 1, 2, 3, 4, the 4 application is working perfectly, where the rest ones are having complications because there's applications missing from those particular test results. Where are those test results? You don't have those test results at all. So at the end of the day, keep in mind, I think a person can just paint the first application and do without the 1, 2, 3, and 4, or 1, 2, and 3, and just do without that and just paint the first one, because I don't see any change in there. That's like if you look at this wall right here, somebody says, hey, look, if you paint this wall, first start off with blue, then we'll start off with red and green. But the minute you paint it yellow, it's going to change into something completely different. How is that going to happen if each application dries? So this is fully dried, and you paint it over and you dry it again. How would that fuse together and change? How? If the surface is already dried. There you go. That's where you messed up at in your demonstration. I've never ever seen, the only way something's going to bleed through, unless you use some cheap paint and it bleeds right through. But other than that, no, that's bull crap. Your product doesn't work. At the end of the day, all your product is nothing more than paint with water in it. That's it. You put water in it to make the paint seem like it was something more than it's not. And you say it's a delivery system. A delivery system for what? Why would you put water in paint? What is the purpose? The only time I've seen people put water in paint, and sometimes milk, and I've seen people use milk in paint, is to stretch the paint. That's it. Just stretch it to get more out of it. But you put water in the product. You put water in the product and you say it's a delivery system and some poly, blah, 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 blah. No. You put water in the paint to thin it out, to make it look like it's a thinner coating, and say on camera it's not a paint. It's a paint at the end of the day. It just has water in it, distilled water in it. That's all it is. Painters do it all the time. I'm not saying all painters, not to be disrespectful to them. You got good guys out there. Some painters do it to actually put more water in the paint to stretch the paint out so you can get more out of it. Of course, yeah, it does weaken the blend and everything, but yeah, they do it sometimes to get more out of it, to save more money in their pockets, especially if they're doing a contract job. Not saying all of them do it, but I've seen people do it before. That's the only reason why. But you're talking about it works as a delivery system, and when you get it, it's going to be separated. No duh, Sherlock. Of course it's going to separate it. You got an element in there that's not supposed to be in there at the end of the day. That's nothing new. You're just explaining why it's going to look like that when the customer gets it, and you're going to come up with some kind of dumb freaking some kind of dumb story by saying that it's a delivery system to keep the paint from basically drying out. Well, if that's the case, how come every time you get paint, it doesn't have water in it? Only yours does. Again. And then even more funnier, like I said, sitting there and watching this demonstration. Sorry, dude, I'm going in on you, but you said it. Like I said, I'm just repeating what you said. It'd be different if I was making this stuff up, but I can't make this stuff up, for my life depended on it. In the video, you said it takes 7 days for a screen to dry. Who in their right mind, number one, is going to put a 4-coat application on the surface, and then on top of that, wait an additional 7 days for the screen to dry? You don't even, it's so, your demonstration is so bad that it doesn't even, you even tripped up 4 or 5 times in your instruction video. You can't even remember your own video. I can remember your video by heart. I know it by heart. But you couldn't remember your own video because you made several mistakes in your own video. You even mentioned something about a paint pan in your video, but never talked any more about it because you realized you made a mistake. If it requires for you to paint a line down the middle of your screen, how would that work with a paint pan or a paint sprayer? You want to take this paint sprayer and just down the side of your wall, put a line in? Or take the roller and just paint it? That's not going to work. So yeah, your instructions are way off. They're completely bamboozled at the end of the day. As for the other one, well, get it this way, still haven't seen the 2, 3, 4, and 5. I've not seen a demonstration of bare silver screen with 2 tablespoons, 3 tablespoons, or 4 tablespoons. I can make your product over here with no problem whatsoever. I can look at it and make it. I was able to basically match your product to network grade 773 without even touching your stuff. And it matched what we had over here. And you still haven't done that demonstration yet at all, period. None of them. But yet we can come on camera and we can drop 4 containers of black paint and draw into the screen with it, throw black fabric, throw black hoodies, and then drop it at 1,000 lumens and still show a difference between night and day. You don't see me getting up off my chair, walking over to a screen and go, look at the screen. You can see the contrast level right there. Who the freak's going to be that close to the screen to see the contrast level? You do that constantly all the time in your demonstrations. The bare silver screen. You call yourself walking out of Home Depot with bare silver screen. Oh my goodness, you remind me of my cat. You do. My cat will sit there and do the craziest stuff at the end of the day and look right at you while he's doing it, thinking that you don't see him doing it. And you got to go, hey, you know I can see you, right? That's what you do, literally. That's exactly what you do. So you walk out of Home Depot with a container of bare silver screen. Bare silver screen, if anyone had to see this stuff, you'd sample it, is so freaking light that literally is passable for white. That's how light this stuff is. I don't know why they call it silver screen, but that's what they call it. But anyway, when I bought it, when I was making the digital and crystal screen paint at the time, we were making the gray screen paint products. I literally thought it was silver because everybody's on this Bear has this new paint coming out. It's called Bear Silver Screen. Everybody literally thought it was silver. You pop the top, it looked like it was almost near white. I'm thinking this cannot be silver because it's not even close. Could you think at $23? Especially if when you're making gray screen paint, you know, you're paying like $23. It was bare $10.50 before silver screen came out. So you're spending $10.50 for the bare. You're spending $17 for the black, a quarter black. And then what most people do is to put a little glitter or to put some silver into it, a little silver to mix with the silver into it. So the silver automatically, if you can get it in a little hobby kit, maybe you might get it for something like $7, $8, $9. But most likely, most people are going to pay like about $13, $14. Most people go to hobby shop or whatever, because remember, you can't be oil based. You don't want to drop oil base in there with the water base. You're going to have complications at the end of the day. So everybody had all these different methods at that particular time of making their own gray screen paint products, besides Goose Screen, which was extremely expensive at the time. So we were using Martha Stewart. Martha Stewart used to be in Home Depot before she lost her contract, and that's why they were replaced with PPJ or PPG, or one of them, the companies. Yeah, that's what they're replaced with. Now, Martha Stewart had these little tiny containers about that big, and look them up. They're small containers. They're about 8 ounces, and you paid about maybe $13, $14 for them. That's what she had in there. That's what we were using. Martha Stewart. We were using Bear 1050. And we were using black paint with a little bit of glitter to make our product. That's the digital crystal screen paint right from there. Then Martha Stewart lost hers and PPG got it. Now, when PPG got it, it was actually better for us because, of course, we didn't have the Martha Stewart anymore to make our product. But the PPG, or PPG, whatever it's called, they came at around $23 a quart, which was much more better than 8 ounces, which gave us more silver. At the end of the day, you know, the glitter, we can always go down to Home or Lowe's or get it from over there. They had it over there, glitter over there. You can go to any hobby shop to get it from there. But then they came out with Bear Silver Screen. And I'm thinking like silver screen for $23, like a gallon? That's freaking crazy. So when I got the container and got it home and popped open thinking it was going to be silver, it was a really, really, really light gray, an extremely light gray. So when this individual called himself walking out of Home Depot with that container in his hand, he was missing vital ingredients that would have matched his product perfectly. Now, when he painted it onto the surface that he had clearly was darker than the Bear Silver Screen. His product had black paint in it because it was darker. When he painted the Bear Silver Screen, the Bear Silver Screens are almost like white. That's why anytime you see anybody with Bear Silver Screen and they're making black gray screen paint products, you will always see a container of black paint in the picture because they use that as the toner to darken the paint, make it lighter, to make it darker. That's what it's for, because the Bear Silver Screen is too light. You have to add black into it, or if not, you get a screen that is extremely too light, and you're not going to be able to pick up a contrast of it in the day. Now, the reason why his product showed a slight little bump, not a huge, massive difference, because he had to be a finger distance to the screen to show the difference. The reason why it showed a slight little bump because his product was a darker and it had more black paint into it, where the Bear Silver Screen was raw and had nothing in it. That's why he was able to pick up a little difference. But the simple fact that you had to be that close to a screen to show the difference is a huge fail, because anybody sitting back at 13 or 14 feet would have not noticed it at all, period. But if you would have said match it, if you would have dropped 2 tablespoons, 3, 4, or 5 into that Bear Silver Screen, it would have matched your product perfectly. And you knew that. Everybody else that does this for a living knows this, but certain people in your channel didn't know this. And you're saying, look at the difference, look at the difference. There was no difference. It was a slight little hiccup. Basic common sense would tell you if you were sitting back 13 feet, you wouldn't have noticed the difference one over the other. And something I also noticed too in the demonstration, when they showed the picture of the pink rose, you didn't stay long on that demonstration. You switched over as fast as possible to the next one, because any light colors that would have been displayed, the bare silver screen would have overshadowed your product. Being a lighter product, having higher white levels and having less black paint would have produced a much more brighter image than your product itself. You don't, you see what I'm saying? You don't really at all, period. Again, see the stuff I explained to y'all? Does he explain it to you? No, he doesn't, because he doesn't know what he's talking about at all, period. That's how we figured your product out so freaking fast. Again, I used to make this stuff back in the day when I first started off. So I know when I look at a screen and I can look at the tone of it, I've made digital and crystal screen paint in so many mixtures of paint, it's not even funny. There is the base of silver, there's the base of gray paint, there is you can start off with a 1050 and you can basically get gray primer and use the gray primer as a substitute for black, which will actually give you the contrast, it'll give you a nice darker level, but your level won't be that. Your white levels will be a little bit higher, but they'll be darker at the same time. And that's by using gray paint instead of black paint. There's so many different combinations. There's a reversal. Reversal, if you want to make a dark gray paint, instead of you killing off your resources and dropping in a ton of black paint into a white base, you start the base off as black, and then you drop in tablespoons of white, and that's how you're able to control how dark you want the screen or how light you want it. There's so many tricks to that, it's not even funny. Or if you want to design something like super silver, you want a super silver screen, you start off with the base being silver, and then you drop black in, or you can drop gray in, it depends on you, or you can drop white in. If you want the screen to be a highlight silver, you drop silver in and you drop white into it. If you want it to be a mid-gray, you put gray into it as your toner. If you want it to be a little darker, you drop black into it. There's so many combinations to it, it's not even funny. We've done them all. That's how I said we can make the products, no problem. Okay, let's keep going, see if we can find some more. That'll be me right there. Let me see. That's somebody else or something. That'll be me right there. I'm using this a little bit right there. You can see what it is right there. There we go. That'll be me right there. Right there. That'll be me right there. There we go. Screen black 12. Painted that one directly onto a wall. See what else we got? That'll be me right there. That'll be me right there. That'll be me right there. Right there. No, that's you know who. Now, let me get this straight. Now, this is some kind of how this guy's such a hater. How is it possible that in this demonstration, you're showing our product coming up that dark, but yet we got demonstrations that go back 7 years back? You didn't even exist 7 years back. Just let you know. So how can you hate on something that you weren't even around when it was developed? There we go, right there. That's me right there. That's me right there. That's me right there. So I find that kind of interesting. How in the world can you hate on somebody when you didn't even exist when black technology was first developed by our company? You weren't even around. Now, you see this environment right here? See how well lit that is? That's how an environment is supposed to look with condensed lighting. Do you see the condensed lighting hitting here and here? They're actually physically making contact with the screen. And yet, when I was doing this demonstration at this house, you were still in the same apartment, not to be rude here, in the same dark, same small screen, in the same environment. That screen's 126 inches. And it sits right next to an open window with light pushing through it and condensed lighting. My environments have always been brighter than yours. So this is another idiot right here. So right here, this is supposed to be, we're supposed to be a scammer here. All right, whatever. Like I said, they're jealous. All you can do is hate. That's me right there again. That's me right there again. Here's black technology 5 years ago. You guys know me 5 years ago? Oh, you didn't know me 5 years ago, did you? Nope. There's another one right there. That's a 12. Here's me again. You guys are, that's what I said again. If you were doing something at the end of the day, you would be showing up all over YouTube. You don't even show up on YouTube. I show up on YouTube. I'm not trying to be rude or disrespectful here, people, but when your product is good, when it does what it's supposed to do, we're on YouTube. You guys are not on YouTube like that. Because again, like I said, your product is a dime a dozen. Anybody can make a gray screen paint product. And you still haven't shown any proof what makes your product different from everybody else's. Here's me again, 7 years ago. That is black screen paint we're testing 7 years ago on a 300 lumen projector in that small little room. Did you even know I existed? So how can you call me a scammer now for black paint when I was making products 7 years ago? I just give you a little chance to think about that one for a minute. The only reason why you're calling me a scammer now is because you know of my existence. My existence was way back in around that time. Again, I said in 2015, right around the time we were contacted by Screen Innovation. If Screen Innovation saw our technology and knew our technology was that good for them to contact us, why would we care about your opinion at the end of the day? Let's scroll down and see another one. There we go. Any one of my demonstrations, always fully lit environment. You guys sit there in these dark cave environments trying to show off this poorly outdated screen paint on overpowered projectors. You couldn't even do that demonstration right there. I gave the demonstration from 3 years ago. That's 3 years ago, and told you to do that demonstration. You can't do it. Your screen will wash out. Look, in the dark. I'm not trying to be rude here. In the dark. See that? In the dark. And I look at the comparison in my video over here. That's why we consider y'all to be a joke at the end of the day. I got demonstrations from 3 years back that shows me walking around in a fully lit environment with a screen that's 3 times the size of yours. My projector sits back farther than yours in a fully lit environment with condensed lighting hitting my screen, and you are sitting in a dark environment. With mind you, you see how close the see how, watch this right here. See how it tans out right here? There we go. And you see how close he is to the screen? You know why they get that close to the screen? Because if they pull back, you'll see the imperfections in the surface. That's why. Look at this right here. And I'll sit in dark environments all day. I don't know how y'all do it. Doing fake demonstrations. Oh, I forgot. We got to go back to the counter again. 1, that's me again. 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 Y'all can't back your stuff up. That's the problem. That's me again. 8 years ago. HD black technology. 8 years. That's me again, right there. No black technology. Come on. All right, people, I got to get to work. I got things to do. My buddy saw that video, the one I had on the digital 4K crystal onyx. He was like, you was making paint that far back. I said, yeah, we were developed. That's right around the time we started developing that black technology. Right around that time we started developing. And the reason why we started developing that technology, like I said, we were in a 10-year global contract, something that you light-skinned gray screen paint makers have never had the experience of having your technology displayed on another country in a showroom. Board meetings, CEOs, you never had that experience. Might have, I don't know, you might have, then again, you might have, but then again, you know, you can't embellish on the truth. You can't lie about your products because you're going to test your stuff out. I couldn't go in there and say, hey, look, we got this gray screen paint and it produces a contrast level equal to a black screen. You think they're not going to test that at the end of the day? Yeah, they're going to test it at the end of the day. And they're going to come back and say, okay, why did you lie to us? So and so and so. Yeah, you can't do that dumb nonsense at the end of the day, making stuff up like that. So when I look up my company under Digital 4K Crystal Onyx, I see nothing but me on there. I see more videos of me than I see of you or anybody else. If you want me to put in gray screen paint, under digital and crystal screen paint, my company, my old company, has more video demonstrations than you have on every single level you can possibly think of. My old company and my new company combined, I overshadow you by so many different levels, it's not even funny. You don't compete anywhere on my level. I can go back to my old gray screen paint products and still take your stuff out, which I did. I brought back the throwbacks, the 3.0 digital and crystal screen paint throwbacks, and offered for this guy to test them. He refused. He was scared to test them out. Now I didn't consider the fact that multiple cancellations I have from both of you combined together. You don't have any room to talk. And now you fear the 38. You should fear the 38. You should fear it. Very well. You should fear it. If I want, I can basically go back to my digital. Oh, we already did that. I forgot. We did. We got a website up under digital and crystal screen paint. We can actually go in and make the products. You know, like I said, at the end of the day, like I said, you could, if you want to back your products, go against digital and crystal screen paint. We got that one called the Elitist. It's all silver. I can tell you right there, from the door. Quarter silver paint and 3 tablespoons of black paint. That's it. And I guarantee that'll blow this stuff clean out of the water. All of them, no problem. I can show you how to make gray screen paint products on a level you wouldn't even believe. The stuff y'all make is easy. I can tell what's in your stuff right from looking at it. It's all black and white paint. That's all it is. That's why you won't do the test that we requested. We requested 2, 3, 4, and 5. You won't do them. And you even have, one of them has a video of him making black and white paint. Literally, we have it on posted on the site. Him making it. And it matched his product perfectly. 3 of them it matched. So as I said before, if your products are supposed to be this, that, and the other, where are those test demonstrations at? What's the difference between your product and somebody actually getting house paint or screen paint? How would they even know? Could they do the same thing with network grade 773? And they can. It's the same thing. I'll tell you right now, if I was still making gray screen paint, I would be terrified of network grade 773. That stuff is really, it's a really good gray screen paint. It's really, really good. Makes an amazing primer on top of that, but it is really good. If I was literally still making gray screen paints, that would have scared the daylights out of me. That stuff can do the same thing his product can do. You know, the only difference between his product is the projector. That's it. Because in his demonstrations, if he's using such a high-end, high-power projector, dark environments, he's calibrating the projector, he's doing little things in there to make the projector, make the paint look like it's more than it is. At the end of the day, that paint is going to react as it's supposed to react. If he swapped that projector and put in a 720p projector, which I may give you that challenge today, have you go swap out your projector and drop out that crutch projector for a 720p Epson for a full year. Because I already got mine set up downstairs. Mine's 600 by 800 res. Mine's not going anywhere. Mine's mounted to my ceiling. So that projector's not going anywhere. But you know, if you want to go side by side with me, and mind you, when you do all demonstrations, they're all going to have to be done in fully lit environments. But you're not going to do that because using a gray screen paint product, you're going to basically have your contrast levels going to be stripped away. Color will be stripped away. You don't have a high-end projector. It's not going to be calibrated, so you don't have that anymore. You're going to be in a fully lit environment, so you can't do certain videos because you know your contrast levels are going to wash out. So you need this dark environment. You need the high-end projector. You need the cut down on the distance throw. You need all that, calibrating all that to make the screen look like that. So you can go in and say, hey, it's quality. It's the screen paint doing all that. No, it's not. If that was the case, then the customers I've seen displaying your screens would have the same reaction, and they don't. One person sitting there doing an OLED jazz demonstration. He's sitting in the dark. I couldn't make out whether that was him or you. The other person was sitting up on a roof doing Batman on a piece of plexiglass. That thing was so washed out, you could see where the black bars were blending into the rest of the screen. The black bars weren't even coming up black. They were coming up gray. That was one failed demonstration. The dude with the laser projector who was showing off his screen, we all seen Disney. Disney has a habit of oversaturating anything they do in all times of color. His screen was completely washed out. Yeah, I don't see it, man. But I'll give you that challenge today if you want it. I will give you a challenge for you to take out your projector. That Optima GT, take it out of the environment. Matter of fact, you are getting a challenge today. Mine's already set up downstairs, so we're good. You're going to have to match every demonstration I do. So I'm going to set time away from the day to come in and do a demonstration. Mine will show snow. You got to show a Starfield demonstration. How about that? And take out all the crutches, So this is what I'm talking about, people, you got to be careful. When people do these demonstrations, people mocked us for using 720p projectors. But at the end of the day, anybody can come into my videos and go, oh, I can afford that projector, because you can afford that projector at the end of the day. The projector we had back there, the one when I get up in the morning on the black wallpaper screen, that's a $109 projector I paid for. But you got people sitting there in these dark environments, and they're sitting there with $3,000 projectors, and they're saying, look at the difference. No, the projector is doing all the work. Your screen paint is not doing anything. If that was the case, you could downgrade your projectors. I do them all the time. My projector downstairs in the living room was a 5,000 lumen, 1920 by 1200 WXGA Chrissy venue projector. The projector I have now in that setting is 600 by 800 720p SVGA. That sits not 2 feet 2 inches, but 18 feet away from the screen at 127 inches. That, mind you, my screen does not sit in a dark little corner. It sits in a bay of windows. Huge, massive difference between your screen sitting in an environment with a 100-inch and an ultra short throw projector that's sitting 2 feet 2 inches away from the screen and a dark little pocket with some LED lights around it. There you go. That's all crutches. You're using all crutches. So what I need you to do for 1 year is to remove that P2, stick that thing in the closet somewhere, go get that Epson 720p and drop that thing back as far as you can in that environment, which means bring it all the way over there by the windows, which would be pretty nice. Mine's 18 feet, so you're not going to be back at 18 feet, but as far as you can get it. And then that bookcase you have there, move that thing out of the way, because it shouldn't be there to begin with. Anytime someone is showing you a demonstration on a screen, if they point toward windows, there should be nothing in the windows blocking any light. That massive bookcase, get that thing out of the way. Open up those windows, let all that light push in. You got a window over there where that air conditioner is at. Open that up and let all that light push in, lighten that area up, and drop a meter in the middle of that floor, and that thing better hit 16 in that room. And let's see what you get. Let's see if you can pull off with a 720p projector, uncalibrated, fully lit environment, and you can pull off the exact same image you were pulling off on the P2. Now, if your screen pulls up an image that looks stunning, like you're showing off on the P2, then it clearly shows at the end of the day that your image at the screen is doing all the work. But if that image doesn't come up the same looking as that P2 projector, that means at the end of the day, the projector did all the work. Because what you're doing is you're telling people, look, this is my image. This is how it looks. This is the quality of the screen. Not considering the fact that you have a $3,300 projector in there. So what happens to the customer who has a projector that's maybe 400, 500 bucks? Is he going to get the exact same quality from that screen due to the fact you may be using a $3,300 projector in there? An ultra 4K laser projector? So if your customer is using a 720p or maybe a 1080p, is he going to get the same reaction, the same quality? If he's not, then that means the projector is doing all the work. So that's what they need for you to do. So we're not going to put your name in the description, like I said, because we don't give you credit, but you know who you are. So we want you to get rid of the projector today. Take it out of the environment. Now, if he doesn't do this, if he refuses to remove that projector out of that environment, it clearly shows that he has to depend on a high power machine to make the screen look good. He has to have it in there. If he refuses to remove that bookcase away from those windows, because you should not be displaying window light if you have a huge, massive bookcase. I don't care if there's light can pass through it. The bookcase shouldn't be there, period. Move it out of the way, get it out of the way. It's destructing too much light. You need to have light hitting the back of that wall as much as possible. That wall should be very well lit up. And you need to get rid of that projector. And I'm just saying, do it for 1 year. Any contrast demonstrations you do, you will do those in all fully lit environments as it should be done. So let's see if they can do it. If he doesn't do it, that means he has to depend on that projector. And that's what a lot of the big companies do. Companies will go out there and they'll spend the money for the most advanced, expensive projector they can get, knowing at the end of the day that the projector really is going to be doing all the work. Because if you don't have the same projector or better, you can't get the same image. That's how that works. Now, see, when you guys were sitting back in your room and whatever, when you were sitting back in your apartment, this is where Mr. Burb is doing. This is the company for Digital One Crystal Screen Paint. This is the contract that we had overseas. Your gray screen paint product never had a contract attached to it. Ours did. We had CEOs and board meetings and all that stuff, everything. I had a 10-year global contract on my product. Because at that particular time, these products were very, very popular. But the fact that my product got picked out of the millions and millions and millions of people that were making screen paints online, we got picked. You know why? Because we did things in our demonstrations that no one else would do. We didn't follow everybody else. We did the opposite. And because we did the opposite, we got noticed. That is my screen paint right there on display in a showroom overseas. These are the CEOs that are involved. It was in Europe. That's where I was at. So when you talk about your product being the best, your product is nothing compared to Digital One Crystal Screen Paint. My Digital One Crystal Screen Paint from that particular era has more weight, has more credit, has more videos, more test demonstrations than your product could ever have. And I have the proof to back it up. There it is right there. These are the places our screens were displayed at. These are the showrooms. They designed showrooms in these areas where they would have this set up where people would come in, investors would come in. There's one of the CEOs right there. Zone 78, you're familiar with him, right? He was a beta tester with us way before you ever met him. David Harbin, Tom Moncrief, all those guys, yeah, they were all beta testers for us way before you ever existed. Before you even knew what screen paint was, I was already here. I was overseas. I was doing business contracts, the whole 9 yards. And here you are still making a great screen paint product, and we moved on to black technology. See the title right there? So how is it possible? Beta tester, this is black technology. You'll see black technology peppered in there from time to time. How is it possible we have a black technology here, right? On a 700 lumen projector done by a beta tester. This is many, many years ago, but for some reason, you, on the other hand, have said you had our product and our images came up so dark you can't even see them. You weren't even thought of in this whole entire thing. You didn't even exist. 2015, I told you, look at the time date. 2015 was right around the time we got contacted by Screen Innovation. This is where my technology was sitting at, in showrooms, on display overseas. Oh, it was great paint. Mine, it washes out. We all know that. But at that particular time, in that era, they didn't care about that because there was no such thing as black technology. We just started coming up with the digital 4K crystal onyx. That's my screen on display at a showroom, at an event with investors. Show me any pictures of your products, either one of y'all, any picture of your product shown anywhere with people invest, anybody who took an interest in your product. That's my screen there again. Beta testers. Outside demonstrations right there on our products. These right here, so you gentlemen can know how it actually works. These are called investors. See that screen sitting behind it? Yeah, barely washed out, but at that particular time, that was the thing. He didn't have the technology we have now. This is what I was going through when I was developing gray screen paint products. Not stuck in a little apartment, excuse my French, not to be rude here, disrespectful, but not in a little, that's wrong. Sorry, I apologize for that one. That was out of line. Not in a room showing off on a high power projector. No, we didn't have P3s at this particular time. P3s didn't exist at this time. The high-end projectors and technology we have today does not exist. We have older projectors. These old projectors, 2,000, 3,000 lumens was considered to be a high-powered projector, and it wasn't even 4K, it was 1080p. This is what my Digital One Crystal Screen Paint was doing. These are all investors. These are all gift bags. You go to the meeting, the investors come in, they look at the screen, they give them gift bags, champagne and keychains and all that stuff with my company's logo attached to it. So when you guys start ranting on about your products, please excuse me when I sit there and I laugh at you for about a half an hour thinking, oh yeah, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, because the simple fact is because my product that you have now trying to make it seem like something that is more than it's not has been through investors, has been through contracts, has been overseas, has been displayed in showrooms. Now we started showing them the black paint because, like I said, at this particular time, contracts started to become sour. And this is where they tried to take over my company. And right around this time, I had hired some people to do some to find some things out for me that I couldn't get access to. And the chatter was coming back that bottom line is they were trying to take over my company. So to get out of a 10-year contract, I actually obsoleted all my product, which I can do now at any given time. That's why, if you notice, I can obsolete an entire product line, bring an entire product line back online, completely new, completely different, and blow out the original with the new stuff. And that's how I got out of my contract. They thought I was stupid at the end of the day, that I wasn't smart enough to figure out what they were doing. But yeah, I found out what they were doing. We figured it out. And when I found out what they were doing, I sat there and told them the day we signed that contract, I always get the same little speech. I say, why do you fight for the crumbs below when you have a 4-course meal overhead, over top? They didn't understand what I was saying, but they were going to understand sooner or later what was going to happen to them if they did mess up. Now, these people thought at the end of the day that they had everything that Mr. Bird had to offer. We're just going to take it from him and he'll have nothing. Not knowing that Mr. Bird had the power to be able to destroy his own product and redevelop product all over again. They didn't know I had that capability, but I did give them the speech. I give it in every single contract I sign. I give that speech, and they give me the weirdest look. But you will figure it out later on. What I mean by that, when I say that, when I give you that little riddle, or what you can say, what it is, riddle, whatever it is, but they figure it out later on. You fight for those little crumbs at the bottom of the table. These are crumbs that you're fighting for. If you had enough trust in me, and you put enough faith, and you didn't steal from me, you could have had the best of the best that we have to offer, and that would have been the 4-course meal over top. But you fight over these little crumbs. Something we're showing you, and then at the end of the day, we can develop technology way beyond that. If you stick with us and you learn to basically don't stab us in the back, you can see what we're capable of doing. But instead, you get greedy over this little stuff. Oh, we got this little bit of crumbs. Oh, we're gonna make so much money. Blah blah blah. Lose track. Then when we come in and we obsolete this, make it worth nothing, and bring in something 10 times more advanced. And that's where the Onyx came in. That's why you're seeing the Onyx posted. At this particular time, we were showing them what happened, why they messed up. When they had this meeting, we weren't even invited to this meeting. We saw everything that was going on. We knew what was going on. We knew what was going on. We found out what everything was going on at the end of the day. And like I said, this is where we're developing the Crystal Onyx. When the Crystal Onyx came out, we showed off the screen. We showed the screen off there deliberately because when they saw the screen, they saw the new technology was black. Never seen anything like that before. And they wanted it. So they took me to court and tried to sue me. They took me to court and tried to say that they had the rights to all of my technology. But you don't, because I was smart enough when I did the contract. I didn't sign my name as in me. You have a contract to me. You have a contract to Digital One Crystal Screen Paint, which means you're only entitled to any technology under Digital One Crystal Screen Paint. Under Digital 4K Crystal Onyx, which was a whole new company, you don't have access to that. See what I mean? Always one step ahead. And what happened? We got all the beta testers that were under us to now test the new technology against the old technology, causing the old technology to become obsolete, worthless, which means everything they had went right down the drain, and they couldn't touch me with a 10-foot pole because I gave them the speech. And when the guy told me why, I said, you tried to steal from my company, and we found out. We got quiet on the phone. Remember the speech I gave you the first day I signed the contract about the crumbs below the table? You took the crumbs. If you had waited and we could have trusted you and we could have established our good friendship here, business ties, you would have had access to that black technology, which we have now. And to this day, from time to time, I'll receive emails from them. But we just block them. We go about our business. Fighting for crumbs. Yeah. Learn the hard way. But it's still nice to go back and look at where we came from. Look at the keychains and stuff we had. These are the meetings with all the investors. That's why they took me to court, because they were upset because they felt they had entitlement to that black technology. And they didn't have entitlement to it, because under the court said, no, you don't. If you signed a contract with his name being him, then they would have rights to that. They would have rights to me. But I didn't. I signed it under digital and crystal screen paint, which means they only had entitlement under digital and crystal screen paint. If I decided I wanted to develop a new company, they had nothing to do with that. They can't touch it with a 10-foot pole. It's mine at the end of the day. And that's what we did. We developed a whole new company. At the time, we were actually going back and forth looking at diamond technology. At that time, that's where I realized we had to make a darker technology. And we were going to include them in with the darker technology. We were. But that's when some chatter came back. I told you, we hired some people to go in and figure out some things for us. And some chatter came back, and we wanted to reconfirm it. And it was true. They were trying to slowly take the company from me, thinking that that was the only thing that I had to offer. Yeah, well, learned the hard way, didn't you? But there we go. They even had packages with 3D glasses. It was crazy. It was, but like I said, all in all, it was a fun experience. I mean, I learned a lot in business, and I learned a lot in business because I was young. I was young, I was in my 30s or something like that. I wouldn't consider that young, but anyway, just starting off. You know what I mean? Somebody comes in from overseas. I never forget the phone call. I was sitting home, my phone went off, and this guy calls up and he says, "Yeah, we've been watching you for the last couple of days." I'm thinking like, "What the freak is going on here?" He said, "No, no, 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 no. We're watching your screen paint. I'm gonna ask you a question. If we come down there, and they're overseas, we come down there, and I'm a man that's a bit serious about business. If we pull the trigger on this, we want to know, are you going to be 100% on board?" And I was like, "Sure, whatever." So I thought they were joking. And the phone hung up. That's the last I heard of the fellow. And then I got another phone call like a week later and said, "We're here." I was like, "What the freak?" So I contacted a few friends of mine because I didn't know who these people were at the end of the day. I had no idea. They were coming in from overseas. I contacted a couple of my buddies. We had some unmarks. If you know about that mean in the hood terms, sorry, you don't want to be ruthless here, but we had some unmarks in the parking lot. So there were about 12, 13 of my people in the parking lot waiting. You can't be people at the end of the day. Look, you gotta understand this world's a crazy place. You gotta come prepared. Okay. So I came in and I sat my back to the back of the restaurant so I could see them as they were coming in. I can have full seat, and I had two vehicles up in the front and the parking lot. Those were all my people. All up in this section was all my people up there. Oh yeah, I don't play those games at the end of the day. I'm gonna walk in there without having some kind of protection. That a whole strip in there, all 4 or 5 of those cars in there were all people in there. All my people were all up in there waiting. If something popped off, it was gonna go down right there on the spot, and I was gonna make sure that everything was taken care of. And yes, at the time when I was doing the business meeting, like I said, first time doing the business meeting, people coming in from overseas, I didn't know who they are. We didn't know much about them, anything at all. Period. Yeah, I'm licensed to carry, so I was carrying. I was sitting there at the booth. And I was hoping everything went well, and I just wasn't gonna be anything crazy, because some crazy stuff happens. At the end of the day, you have to make sure that you are basically, you know what you're getting yourself into. So like I said, when they came in, 2 cars came in, and the parking lot majority was still with my people in there. I had people all up in that area, was sitting there seeing what was going to happen. Because I told him, I said, "Look, we got to go to this parking lot. We got to meet at the meeting." He said, "Have it at a restaurant. You can have it out in the open, just in case anything happens. You need backup." I said, "Yeah, I need a few vehicles." And people were showing up there, just parked up front, just waiting. Everybody was sitting at their children. They were all my people out there waiting for something to pop off. So we went there, we sat down, the people came in, they were very nice, very polite. All right, sign of relief, you know what I mean? All right. So after they put the contract in front of me, they gave me $7,000 up front for samples. They gave me 7 grand. They wrote me a check for $7,000. So I was sitting, my hands were shaking a little bit. I was like, "Oh my God, 7 grand. So we only need so and so out of this. You keep the rest." And I wanted like about $3,000 worth of paint. Keep the rest. And my mind's like, like it was crazy. So then I got this great big huge thick contract. It's a draft, and they leave. They get in their cars. They drive off. I wait till they leave and drive off. I sit there for a minute at the table, and then my phone goes off. My people are like, "Is it good?" I said, "We good. I got a contract." I jumped in the first caravan with my buddy. We drove, went to get something to eat. Went out, talked and had fun. Went to visit my family and everything. Showed them the content and everything. I was happy as I don't know what. I said, man, now we got to get some. I got to figure out how we're going to process this. Remember, I got a small little room I'm renting out of. I can't process 200 gallons of paint. I ain't got that kind of room. So a buddy of mine had a little warehouse space. And I gave him some money. He's gonna do it for free. I said, no, I give him some money. And I hired about 3 of my closest friends, which my boy June, my buddy TK, and me. We made the product. And they came and picked it up. And that's how the whole thing happened. But yeah, I don't go in. Now, mind you, now I'm a little bit wide. This is my first time. I don't do that now, but that was my first time going and having that kind of meeting, having somebody come down from overseas. I didn't know what I was getting myself into. So like I said, yeah, I was carrying. He was carrying also too. Found out as we got to be friends and everything. He was telling me he was carrying a gun. He's licensed to carry. I think it's somewhere. He has a crazy license. I don't know what it is, but it allows him to carry like in any country he walks into because he does a lot of business overseas. And he said himself he doesn't know sometimes what he might be getting himself into when he's traveling to these different countries. Anything could happen. So he has a license to carry. So he was carrying. I was carrying. I was like, yeah, but front the 4 cars in the front that was all mine. And the people over there at Popeyes, we met over at a little gallery, like a little outside mall. So all those people on the corner over by Popeyes and over by Chase Bank, that was all people. That was all me. That was all my people over there. But it was funny how we talked about, laughed about it. He was licensed and carrying all that stuff. It was funny. It was an interesting day. But like I said, he didn't know who I was at the end of the day. I didn't know who he was at the end of the day. I could have been anything. He could have been anything. But once you establish that trust, but then eventually, like I said, down the road, they tried to rip me off. So they got greedy. They got greedy on the investors that were coming in, and the investors liked what they saw, and they were, we had contracts for schools, we had contracts for auditoriums, we had contracts for office buildings, all this stuff that was popping off, and they got greedy. That's one of the demonstrations they set up. So now when it comes to gray screen paint products, you can't have them in a lot of light. Even we knew that back then. You can't have them in a lot of light because the screen will wash out. We'll have some issues. So you have to use it in an ambient light controlled environment. You try to use it in a full lit environment, the screen's going to wash out. All gray screen paint does the exact same thing. So there's they put our logo right there. Right there at the top. Yeah. People. That's why I don't get upset with the you naysayers and haters that talk all this trash. At the end of the day, you have to understand, I got a history behind me. I don't basically, at the end of the day, I know you guys can't back your products up. You can't do it. I can come back and I can go in the archives and I can show you stuff that goes way back before you even knew I ever existed. So it doesn't bother me when you go and you talk trash about, oh, he's a scammer, he's this and that. I was making black screen paint before you even knew who I was. So when you come in and you're running your mouth like that, it just shows at the end of the day, all you're just showing is a person that's insecure, you're jealous at the end of the day, and that's what you are. Because I can always come back and I can always back up my work 100%. You guys want to talk about how you're professional with your gray screen paints? You're not even close to professional. This is professional. When somebody picks you up, gives you a 10-year contract, drop a couple $1,000s into your account, and your stuff is being shown in another country on a display, then you become professional. You're not professional. To me, at the end of the day, I consider you guys to be noobs. That's what I consider you to be. You don't have enough time on your belt. You don't. But that being said, people, I got to go spray me a screen. I got to go spray me a screen. I got to spray a 100-inch. And I got some more orders I got to take care of for today. But yeah, that's the reason why we don't really, I don't go to that whole road of going back and forth. I had to, the Christian that came in and told me about myself on that one, I thank him for that one, because yeah, sometimes I get locked into something I let go and I just go back and forth, back and forth. But as I said before, we don't show off your products. We don't even say your names, nothing, because I realized, my history and the time that I put in, the effort I put in, the work that I put in to get here, it took a lot of work to get there in that little tiny rented room. You don't even know the first beginning of sacrifice and hard work. You don't know what it is. When you joke about me coming on camera, yeah, I come on camera covered in paint because I work at the end of the day. I ain't got time to go pretty boy syndrome on camera all day. I work. I'm covered in sawdust. I'm covered in paint. I'm covered in dirt because I'm constantly building, designing, making, creating all the time. You guys do the same stuff over and over and over again. You don't work for your product. You don't know what sacrifice is at the end of the day. That little tiny rented room, I was there for 4 years sleeping on the floor. in that little tiny room for 4 years, sleeping on the floor in that little tight confined space, getting up and making videos, getting up and processing paint, walking to the post office in the snow, the rain, the sleet, whatever, to get the job done. You don't know what it's like to go through sacrifice. That's why you're at where you're at now, and this is why my product is where it's at now. And all you can do is hate on me at the end of the day. I don't care at the end of the day. All right, people, with that being said, boop, doo, 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 I got to get back to work because I got things to do. We're going to be testing out some new stuff today. And on top of that, I got my own, finally got my acoustic screen because I gave mine away. I gave my acoustic screen away. So I ain't going to get a chance. So we got messages popping up right now on the account right now. I told you I'm some performance sites. We showed the screen, turned it into liquid, the 180 inch. Oh my goodness, man. It was freaking out on that one right there. So I'm like, oh, I should get me some fishing rod and do a whole thing. But I'm like, okay, we'll get to that later. I'm rambling on because I gotta start work. I want to start work. But you know, sometimes we got to put stuff up here. Sometimes to remind them at the end of the day that, look, man, you need to just stay in your place. Take all that negative nonsense and do something positive with it. I could have spent freaking many years hating on diamond technology because at the end of the day, I thought up and down that the product that I made, mind you, consider you guys have never had an experience like this. Hopefully one day you do have an experience like this, maybe. But the way you guys carry, the way you act up, the way you act, no company will touch you with a 10-foot pole because of the dirty tactics that you do at the end of the day. And they see this. You're damaging yourself, not me. Hating on me is not basically damaging me at the end of the day. We're on multiple forum sites right now. People are in there watching my demonstrations live in there. They know my product. They're checking out my product. There's customers confirming my products in there. And then meanwhile, they go back while they're searching to find me because we don't post or advertise in there because of the rules. They bump into you guys and they watch our videos and they see, wow, this guy, they have nothing but hatred for this guy at the end of the day. And I talked to this guy before. So these people have talked to me and I've communicated with these people. So they know what kind of person I am at the end of the day. But they see you guys for what you are, a bunch of hater, jealous trolls, and it's hurting you at the end of the day. It really is. Especially those cancel orders are really hurting you at the end of the day. Because anytime somebody pops up and says, well, yeah, well, here's their cancel orders right there. That does not help you at the end of the day because it shows you have no confidence in your product. All right, well, let's see. Kind of figure what we're going to be doing today. We got some mesh screens to do today. And definitely going to try to get outside today. I'm going to try to see if I can string up my 180 inch outside. Hold on for a minute. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. That's gotta be somebody walking through the golf course. You cannot be playing golf right now. You guys are freaking golf warriors. Oh, somebody's taking a shortcut to the golf course. All right, whatever floats your boat. All right, so let me see. What are we gonna be doing? I got orders to take her today, but I want to do some. Oh, we're going to be doing the rear projections today. We're going to be doing a rear projection. I'm coding one for my day. So actually, technically, I should be outside coding the screen, but I know to address this real quick. But as I said, you guys that have all this anger and everything, man, take that anger and try to make a better product. Do with that, okay? Because like I said, real quick, I could have spent my time, and I really believed up and down, bar none, that my product was basically producing contrast levels, it was producing color. I really seriously believed that. But at that particular time, like I said, it did what it needed to do at that particular time. It did what it had to do. That's why I'm here now. So keep in mind, when you have this kind of confidence and you're back your head, you're contracted. You have people that are selling your product overseas. You're making a ton of money at the end of the day. So when you think about that, when you really think about that on where your confidence level is at, and you take a screen, I've seen Black Diamond before. I've seen him pop up on a couple of forum sites. I was like, what the freak is that? And Jim was like, yo, this guy's got a black screen. I said, that's impossible. It can't, but how to get it? It's so many questions. How to get light from the screen? How's it producing light? How's it even it was blowing my mind? And I kept seeing these demonstrations. I'm researching their company, checking out their screens. Like, what the freak? Like, how's he doing this? And then sooner or later, my buddy June called me and said, hey, buddy, I got a present for you. It's my birthday. He said, I got you a sample sheet of Black Diamond. I was like, what? Went down there, picked it up. I was looking at it, wait a minute, this isn't black, it's gray, but it was much darker than anything I ever had upstairs in my shop. Man, I bought that thing upstairs. I laid against my screen. Oh my goodness, man. I saw things that were absolutely amazing. The blues were so blues. The color was so rich and white levels. It was gorgeous. It was gorgeous. And like June said, it was like looking at a TV. And I thought to myself right there and then, I mean, I went through everything. My shop was a mess. I went through everything, and that thing blew out. Everything I had in the shop, I had nothing to compete with it. Nothing. So I had to make a decision right there and then. I could go many years hating this stuff and slandering it, or I can basically make a technology equal to it or better. I chose better. And that's why you see the letter there from their company. And that's why you see those court orders back and forth, the court orders where we have to stay away from their stuff. That's why. So I could have turned it into negative nonsense. I could have turned it into hatred. Oh yeah, I could have turned it into a lot of things today, but I decided to do something positive with it. So mental note to you haters out there, do something with all that anger at the end of the day. Go out there, get yourself a garden, start a garden for the kids after school. Maybe you got an elderly person in your neighborhood that may have a hard time getting groceries or make things. Check around your neighbor, see who we can help out, and they take that aggression and do something positive with it. Who knows? It could blow up into something crazy, something interesting at the end of the day. So you're going around spreading a whole bunch of hate. All right, well, yeah, I got to get to work. Got to go, and God bless.